This is the sloop Grand Dame, purchased by Al Lewis, 1982. Today is July 1st, 2001. Mast is 42 feet. It's a fractional rig. It's got some jumper struts. Antennas on top, wind indicator, tricolor light, anchor light, strobe. It's got two down-facing spotlights for the deck. Those are the spreader lights. And the mainsail and the club-footed jib have covers. Both are varnished Sitka spruce, and the mast is Sitka spruce. The cabin trunk is mahogany. The top is canvas. And we're looking at the forward hatch. The mast steps on top of the cabin and is supported down below with a bulkhead that separates the head between the head and the hull that goes to the fee berth. Boom crotch sets behind the cockpit. That has to be removed when using the tiller. It's got a solar panel attachment for recharging the battery or keeping the battery charged. There's also a strobe light which goes on if the low level and the high level sump pump quit. And that will warn for about 24 hours that there's a problem. There are two anchors mounted on the bow, a Bruce anchor and a large Danforth. There's 200 foot of Rhode for each anchor, plus there's another 200 foot below deck with a ship sea anchor in case of an emergency. Also, there's a lunch anchor with its own anchor Rhode. That's got about 100 foot of line that can be used off the stern of the boat. And I've got a high tensile strength Danforth anchor for proper conditions of the bottom. Got a bronze fitting up front. This is the chock at the bow. It's got a windlass, manual operated windlass.
A new boat for you, Al?
Instead of a Dryad air scoop, got an insert in the forward porthole. There are 4 port lights on each side in the forward V berth, which sleeps 2. Also, there's enough cushion there for 3, 2 and a young adult. There are 2 vented port lights on either side, and the forward port light is vented. In the bathroom, the head, that port light opens, and then in the cabin there are 2 on each side that open. There's a grill. It's attached to one of the stanchions. That's a propane grill. Small propane cylinders are used for that, thereby eliminating the need to have a compartment for the propane. And a throw buoy with line for emergency purposes. The rails, grab rails run all on the cabin top, and the forward hatch has a screen that inserts to keep bugs out if that's necessary. As I said, this is a fractional rig. It comes with a club-footed jib, a jenny, a spinnaker turtle. I also have a spinnaker pole, which is not on board right now. Club-footed jib sheet is controlled in the cockpit. And the decks are teak plank. One of the few Hinckleys that I understand that were made with teak planking on top of teak plywood. That's the traveler for the club-footed jib, and a vent that vents into the bathroom, the head. Looking aft into the cockpit, it's got a nice spacious cockpit. Companionway hatch. In 1982, the bulkhead was rebuilt and raked a little bit to provide more room down below in the galley area, and also provide a back support, better back support at a slant. Got two sets of winches on each side. These are South Coast winches, number 2s. Turning blocks. That's for the spinnaker or jenny. And full seat cushions in the cockpit. The cockpit sole is teak, and you can see the boom crotch steps down into the cockpit sole. Looking at the bulkhead, tilt indicator, depth and speed, mount for the compass, and the ignition and controls. Electronics are mounted on the starboard side of the cockpit. Looking in the cabin now, forward berth. We're going to go down below. Okay, it's got cabin lights on either side of the walls of the cabin. The galley has pressure water, no hot water. There's an ice box, that's a big ice box right next to the sink. Master control switch is located underneath. And the sink is Manel stainless. And stainless covers the engine. This is the engine compartment. This is removable. The top is removable for easy access to the engine. There's a countertop stove that can be put into a box. It's one of these quick ignite stoves, one burner, but it's good enough for cooking inside. There is no oven. Drawers on each side. This is the silverware drawer. And compartments on each side. This is a tiny tot stove, charcoal stove that vents through the cabin top. There's a locker for hanging clothes, life jackets and whatnot. We store the life jackets inside these lockers here. And the shelving runs on both sides for easy storage and access. There's a bookshelf behind the hanging locker. And these are shelves, compartments in the galley. We're now looking at the Portside Vhf Radio. This is the locker that is used to store maps and also hang spinnaker sheets, Genoa sheets, blocks, etc. And the screen for the companionway. Mahogany shelves, binocular shelf. It's a wind speed indicator. There are also lockers underneath the berth on either side and up forward below the V berth. There's a drawer on one side and then there's a holding tank on the other side underneath the V berth. Looking forward to the V berth. Looking at the head, there's a sink with pressure water, a Crittenden toilet, the seacocks, draws water from the outside for flushing purposes. It is totally self-contained, so nothing is discharged. And a mirror door. This is a mahogany door to close off the head. In the head is a large locker to store boxes of things, seal things, and there's a port light and a vent through the roof, through the ceiling. Also has a light for the head and a medicine cabinet. Excuse me. Going forward, a nice V berth, extra thick cushions. And the V berth has shelves on either side. Below the forward deck is a light and various tubing compartments to store cleaning utensils, hooks, dock hooks and flags and things like that. Also, that's the anchor locker up forward. Okay, this is looking from the V berth. I'm laying down in the V berth, looking up at the ceiling. This is a screen for the V berth. Looking out the companionway.